Hello everyone. In this bowl I have something that is by all metrics unremarkable tea. I think it's very cool though. It's called Sannen Bancha, which translates into English as 3-year ordinary bancha, 3-year ordinary tea. Looking in this bowl, it sort of looks like what these leaves are going to look like in a couple weeks from now, but you can see all sorts of twigs and brown leaves in sort of a greenish brown way or in a reddish brown way. It's sort of a waste product, which makes it interesting. It's one of those teas that if you're looking for it, it's pretty easy to find, but you'd never find it if you weren't looking, sort of things. Sannen Bancha is made in certain situations. Usually when there's a part of a tea field that you don't necessarily have the staff to cultivate, or there is a field that is basically abandoned that needs to be, what's the word I want to say, upkept, maybe? So, well, think of it like this. If my grandparents were tea farmers and my parents moved away from the tea farm maybe when they're 20 years old, maybe to study medicine, be a doctor, even be a bartender, whatever, but they went to live in another city, a big city, let's say like Osaka or Tokyo. They grew up, go to university, get married, fall in love. They have me as their, let's say, only child in that city. And then one day the grandparents will pass away and my parents will probably inherit that land. And now they grew up there and they probably have some kind of attachment to it, but it's not necessarily like they're going to go out there and live. But they have brothers, maybe they have sisters, they have cousins, they have uncles and aunts who may still all be living, who would give them a lot of trouble if they were to sell that property. So they keep it. They keep it and they hold on to it for us. And maybe it didn't really inconvenience them too much because, let's say, maybe the aunts and the uncles and their families lived nearby and then they would go kind of maintain and take care of that place. But then a generation later, let's say something happened and your parents, or in this example, my parents passed away. And let's say that happened when I was 30, some accident or something. So now I will inherit that land. And look, I grew up in the city. I have no idea how to make tea. I don't want to make tea. I have a life that's already kind of trying to be established right now. So the thing is, when you have property like that, if you let the grass grow to be 6 feet long, it just dries up and becomes a fire hazard. And it looks ugly, and your neighbors don't necessarily want to put up with that if they're living out there and they're trying to be happy to have like a lousy neighbor. So you would have to hire some kind of landscaping company to sort of have some bare level of maintenance. And every 3 years or so, tea bushes can get pretty big, even if they were like cut down into the ground. So that is the point of this tea, is they're going to go into tea bushes and with a chainsaw basically, and they're going to cut them down into the ground, or at least manicure them and collect the result. So you could burn it, you could compost it, you could also sell it, but I think it's cool to keep in mind that even something as kind of low quality as tea bags is made with the intention that someone's going to drink it and be happy. That was never even the intention here. If you can get happiness from this, that's all on yourself. This is literally tea. There is nothing beyond that. And there's nothing fresh about it. There's also very little caffeine. So again, by almost all metrics, it's garbage. And why would anyone want to drink it? Well, it's interesting. The flavors are sort of like, I would say, three things mixed together. So the first is a combination of potato chips. If you took sour cream and onion flavor, you mixed with barbecue flavor, you'd get pretty close to this, I think. The second thing would be olive oil. When you're starting to use lower qualities of olive oil that have more of an olive bitterness to them, it's sort of got that olivey bitterness the same way. And then, well, the last one is hard. Maybe it's hard to follow along unless you've tried it. But if you take something really fresh like basil, Thai basil, for example, and then you freeze it, and then you thaw it back out, it is no longer good at all, basically. If you dried it, it'd probably still be kind of useful, but if you freeze it and thaw it, it becomes really not good at all. Mix all those flavors I just said together. That's sort of what you get from this. And yeah, I'm really into it. So I'm gonna sit out here, listen to the gardeners throw stuff in the trash bin, and try to relax before I work today. Ciao.